Wolverhampton Wanderers 3, Chelsea 4. Our Carabao Cup journey comes to an end after an absolute mess of a football match at Molineux tonight. Lots of goals. I'm sure if you were a neutral or you just went to Molineux for the evening, you would have enjoyed it. A little bit more stressful, no doubt, for the Wolves fans and Vitor Pereira. But I think, I don't know. I mean, we lose another football match, which is frustrating. I think the second half performance gave us a little bit more and maybe gave us a little bit of positivity, just the smallest bit of positivity going into Saturday against Fulham. But, I mean, we can't deny the first half was an absolute disaster for Wolves once again. I think the manner of how he conceded all 4 goals was really frustrating. But for me, again, scoring three goals, albeit against an extremely rotated Chelsea team, still full of talent, don't get me wrong. We still cause them problems, which I suppose is good in a way. I'm gutted really because I felt the Carabao Cup, not necessarily we were going to go all the way and win it, of course, but for my generation, maybe the generation above me, they've not really seen us, win a major piece of silverware. So for me, I want us to compete and fight on every front. So I would have loved to have seen us get through to the quarterfinal because I think anything can happen there really. But yeah, I was gutted to lose today, to be honest. But the talking point again pre-kickoff, like it was on Sunday, was the starting 11. 11 changes for Vitor Pereira today. Interestingly enough, starting Emmanuel Agbadou in a holding midfield position, which for the sort of 15-20 minutes we saw, it didn't look out of place, it didn't look awful. But ultimately, Wolves just a little bit poor once again in terms of the quality of goals conceded. So Andre Santos scoring the first one 5 minutes in. I think Tolu's got to do a hell of a lot better in terms of his hold-up play there. Ball comes to him. And he's either just got to hold it up and bring it down. He tries the first time pass, which is awful. Long range effort, quite precise from Andre Santos scores. The second goal as well is frustrating. I think what Chelsea did really well tonight was play out of the press. As soon as Wolves are pressing with 3 or 4 players, once they played out of it, every time they were counter-attacking, it was almost sort of a 4-on-4 or 5-on-4 situation, and they looked like they were going to get the better of us every time. The Tyreek George goal to send Chelsea 2-0 was frustrating for me because I think Muller Wolf, obviously, he's a little bit far away from the game. So what Totti's trying to do is sort of sit in between 2 players. But in the end, when the ball comes into the area, Tyreek George has sort of just got so much time and very little pressure on him. So he can just literally put his foot on it and it'll go into the back of the net. Resulting from that, Doc gets injured. We bring Rodrigo Gomez on. And Wolves looked a little bit better. And I think the game was just that open. I just kept getting encouragement every time we picked up the ball. But just nothing really seemed to stick and nothing seemed to work going forward. They pretty much killed the game off, or I felt they killed the game off just before half-time. Esteval, lovely finish. But once again, you have to question Jose Sarr playing the ball into Fer Lopez. If he turned the opposite way, he would have been okay because he would have seen he had a pass on. He turned the completely wrong way. He's got 3 Chelsea players pressing him. There was only going to ever be one outcome. So for me, you could put the blame on Fer Lopez for losing the ball, but obviously we're not down there on the pitch. Does he get a shout? Should Jose Sarr have just cleared the ball and not put one of his fellow players under pressure? And that's a situation where you've got to use your noggin a little bit. You've got to know your players a little bit. And I think Vitor will be frustrated, but ultimately Fer Lopez he came off at half time. He struggled it again in the first half. And I think Vitor's kind of quietly been trying to say the lad is not ready. And us fans, obviously, we want it, putting pressure on for him to start. He started against Leeds, played the ball in for the assist. He did lose the ball quite a lot against Leeds. I think, again, it's probably another example. If fans start questioning him again, he'll say, okay, look at this first half against Chelsea because he just struggled. And unfortunately, Rodrigo Gomez came off at half time as well. I did feel bad for him, really. But second half, I don't know what he said at half time or whether Chelsea just took their foot off the gas. We did look better. Tolu gets the goal. Brilliant from Hwang, to be fair. Really nicely weighted pass. Lovely finish from Tolu. And I'll say it again. I think Hwang had a decent game today. I think the bar he set for himself no disrespect, it's pretty low, but I felt he put himself about today, and I wouldn't be against him potentially knocking on the door for a start on Saturday amongst that front three, to be honest. But we get that goal, we keep ourselves in the game, and Chelsea are bringing on some of the big boys towards the end. We see Liam Delap, Neto, Cucurella, Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez. You know, they thought, hold on, we need to be careful here. Muller-Wolf gets the goal, and this is a perfect example. We saw it a little bit against Burnley of. Now we're getting the ball in the area. We've got these big boys. Every time the ball is up in the air or whatever, it's about somebody keep the ball alive. Try and keep the ball alive. Win the flick on. And we saw it at Burnley, probably for both goals, really. We saw it when we won the penalty, but in particular the Manetti goal as well. But today we saw it as well. Keeping the ball alive, flicks it back to David Muller-Wolf. He's still got a little bit to do. But again, a player that's been completely out in the cold, and he grabs himself 2 goals today, albeit the second one was a little bit scrappy. But the first goal to make it 3-2 at the time was a gorgeous finish. But frustratingly, when we've got all the momentum, and it exactly the same as the Burnley game again, we get a throw in, we think, oh, we've got to get it up the pitch. It's hot potato. Instead of just taking half a second, I said the exact same thing on Sunday afternoon. Half a second, compose yourself, make sure the throw in finds someone. Mosquera just throws it down the line, really loose throw in, and to be fair, can Sarr do better? I think he's caught by surprise. I think the quality and the technique from Bino Gittins for the finish is just ridiculous. It's a fantastic finish, but I think as a whole, I think 3 of the 4 goals today, probably all 4 goals, Wolves have got to do miles better for. We get the sort of third, the consolation, Muller-Wolf again, just everyone putting their bodies on the line, you know, winning the ball, keeping it alive to make it 4-3 and give us a little shout. But I think the players were frustrated at the end of the game because Chelsea, especially after that goal, we lost about another minute to 90 seconds plus of stoppage time, and the ref only really added 60 seconds where it probably should have been a little bit more, to be honest. We did see Liam Delap get us a red card as well. Mosquera managed to get a few bookings for Chelsea players, just a little bit of a wind-up play, and we know what Yerson Mosquera is about. But yeah, he really wound Liam Delap up there, and he did quite well. What he's got to be cautious of, though, in the Premier League is if he doesn't get away with it, because a couple of times where he flung himself on the floor, the referee might just say, you're being daft now, play on. But you know, he did well to draw that, and that may have given us a chance. But ultimately, 15 shots today, 4 on target. I think that's one of our main issues. We've just got to be testing the goalkeeper a little bit more. We were lucky in spots today, and I think it's so strange football because before half time I heard the fans chanting sacked in the morning, and by the end, you know, they were getting clapped off the pitch. So I think it's amazing what a 45 minutes can do. What Wolves have got to do now is put that second half performance into Saturday. It's not the end of the world losing today. Like at the start of the video, I would have loved for us to go on a little cup run, but I'd rather us lose games in the EFL Cup if it means we can start picking up points and winning football matches in the league. So that's what we've got to do now, and Fulham is a massive game for us. Can we kickstart our season? I'm probably in the minority in regards to thinking that maybe we've still got a shot at staying in the Premier League, but can we kickstart our season? Because it's got to start sooner rather than later for Wolves. But unfortunately, we're out of the Carabao Cup at the round of 16 stage. It finishes Wolves 3, Chelsea 4. A mental game of football. But despite an absolutely disastrous first half, I think there still were some positives to take from it. Like I said, the starting lineup, the first half performance was awful. I'm really unsure what. I know Vitor maybe wanted to prove a point by the players starting and the amount of rotation, but second half much better. We're just going to take that into Saturday. I'll be back with my preview for the Fulham game the next day or so, guys. As always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll catch you on the next one.